Warning, this podcast is intended for mature audiences only. It contains adult language, themes, and humor. Everything said here is for comedic and satirical purposes only. It is not to be taken literally, and nothing in the show should be used as a basis for legal proceedings or real-world actions. Listener discretion is strongly advised. Welcome back to another episode of Slightly Offensive with your favorite host, me, Elijah Schaefer. Today was a very interesting day as we had celebrations for the 4th of July, and I believe the biggest losers this weekend were all of us and, of course, our friends, female police officers. Check out this video from Milwaukee where our favorite diversity doctors and engineers launched a mortar at a female police officer, rendering her unconscious. Check it out.
Bro, they popped a firework, blew up the car, and the officer. Officer, you okay? It popped on the officer. Officer, you okay?
I didn't mean to launch a mortar
we'll
at
help
your vehicle.
You. Radio in
My
and
bad,
officer.
Sis.
Officer down, you guys. You okay, officer?
Down. Imagine you die and it's the last
Push
thing
button.
you hear.
Hey, hey.
Still going?
Cover the cop. Cover the cop at least. Cover the cop.
She's not
Not
dead.
okay. It blew up in her face, bro. It's right there.
Yes.
Give her some space.
Also,
Give her some space.
A
Bro.
female cop on her own in Milwaukee on 4th of
Officer
July.
down in front of the Walgreens. Let her relax. Just cover her around there so no more shit happens. What up, Yazin?
Little as hell, but get up, man. Come on.
Officer! Right here!
Freaking out.
All right, and so begins our topic today. Our country is in a very interesting state of affairs. It's the pre-trial for Robinson in the Charlie Kirk assassination, and things are not going well. Robinson looks pretty happy as facts are not lining up. We'll be looking a little bit about that. Is Candace Owens as dumb as people like to make her out? Plus, we're going to be talking about the celebrations over the weekend, the good, the bad, the ugly, and a special topic tonight specifically on female officers. It's been a bad weekend for female officers across the world, and it looks like our country is ruined. As I saw a picture today, did you know that like back just 75 years ago, it was common for 16-year-old white girls with blonde hair to be gasoline, or was it called petrol attendants? The world was so safe when you didn't have a bunch of brown and black people trying to murder you that your 16-year-old daughter was a good idea for her to get people gas at a gas station. It feels like that doesn't even exist now. It seems like even the Odyssey is more accurate about, the lore of our history than our own history itself. Joining me today in the studio to talk about this and so much more is co-host and contributor Nikki Rudd. Welcome back.
What's going on, you guys? Glad to be back. I hope everybody had a safe and awesome 4th of July weekend and the celebration of 250 years of the American experiment. I know I did. I had a great time, as a true American patriot does. I went to the Kanye West concert, Yay concert in San Antonio. There was one song missing, but that's okay. I still had a great time. It was really cool. Saw Patriot Blue Jackson out there in San Antonio. Shout out to bro. I hope you guys had a great time as well, stayed safe. As we saw, there was lots of heritage Americans running wild, running amok this weekend. It might be over, or maybe it's not. There are also some other heritage Americans protesting, marching in Washington, D.C. We'll talk about that later. Good to be back with you guys here on Monday.
Yeah, let's just start from the top here. All right. Very funny thing. I saw a video. If you can bring this up, GQ magazine just put up a picture of one of the stars from the Nordic countries. I think this is Sweden, correct? I think he plays for Sweden, or is he Norway?
Norway.
Okay, Norway. I forgot he's not Muslim, so he can't be Swedish. But Erling Haaland is a star player. He looks like he's from Agartha. I believe we also call him the Owen Schroyer of the East in my circles. Erling Haaland, as we pronounce it in English, is one of the stars of the Norwegian football team, or soccer in the United States. And, I saw this young guy. He's from Norway. And he said, oh my gosh, I just didn't realize by living in Norway that people were surprised about giant, sharp-jawed, blonde people. That people were shocked by that this exists, when this is 90% of the people that I see every single day in my city. And this sort of, puts an interesting point that, you would think we're back. People are like, wow, who is this man of glory and majesty? He looks like a god. And you're like, we are actually. He is, quite frankly, lowercase g though. Mm-hmm. And the world's, shocked. They're blown away. Like, people like this exist. And there was a time in history when that's what happened. Someone like that came on the shores, even on the shores of my people's land, came off a ship, a Viking ship, and went, what are these people? 6'5", could slay you in the night. Every girl wants to be raped and killed by them. Just joking, but I don't know what was happening back then during the pillaging days. But even the white people were impressed by the Nordics, okay? And they did kind of conquer most of the region. They even came here to the United States before it was called the USA. And people are celebrating, who is this person? And that's a good question. What happened in the white Western world, whereas we celebrate our independence and the world celebrates with us, coincidentally during the World Cup, that people are like, I didn't know white people exist. That's what I'm seeing happening today. And this begins our story today, is if in white countries we don't know that white people exist, and we finally find one here and we're like, who is this? It's like, there is a country of those people, by the way. I know that you don't think, because of our immigration policies, that white people kind of exist in geo-regional locations, but yet Norway still remains pretty much Caucasian. And I start there simply because we are in a identity crisis as a country. And 4th of July, I would say, is the first year, 250, we're going to declare this the first year, that the left has had a problem with for a long time. And I would say the far right, or the right, also has had a problem with, okay? Because we are in an identity crisis. Now, we are still the strongest country in the world. I bring this up because, Trump does have some power. Megatron _Ron pushed this out this weekend. U.S. Senator Cruz, laughing with Trump, admitted that they are rigging the World Cup. On behalf of all Americans, thank you for getting rid of that ridiculous red card. I don't watch the World Cup. I don't really care about it. I'm an American. I'm happy that people like our country. But if you don't know, one of our key players was red carded. I'm assuming that red being bad, because we said the Indians here were red and we didn't like them. They were bad too. So red means bad. Stop, don't go. He was red carded, essentially, I guess, ejected in some way. And Trump literally got it overturned, apparently, according to sources. Listen.
And on behalf of all Americans, thank you for getting rid of that ridiculous red card.
Shouldn't have said that.
No,
This is
He's like, oh, I shouldn't have said that.
It was spectacular. There was a reason the FIFA trophy sat here for as long as it did.
So we all know sports are rigged. Let's just start here by saying, as much as the world and the media hates our country, as much as they this weekend like to say that we're violent and we are, loud and whatever it is, if you travel the world, most of it's pretty trash, honestly. Realistically speaking, there's really no perfect place. It's all romanticized. Nothing better than growing up and moving from Hollywood to Texas, You know, you're in Hollywood, also romanticized. It's a shithole. And you move to Texas, also a shithole, romanticized as like this Texas spirit. We literally do control the whole world. But it seems like perhaps the control we have to this day is either we bomb you or we just manipulate your system financially. And it kind of is like, that's kind of interesting. I guess the World Cup is rigged. Because if that's true, then it's rigged. If leaders can do that, it's rigged.
Yeah, I still call it soccer. Sorry for all the third worlders out there. I also don't really care that much about the sport, to be honest with you. You see a lot of those takes about like soccer is gay. I did play soccer until like 10th grade, until my sophomore year of high school.
Good child sport.
But it was just never, it just doesn't like enthuse me, you know? I don't watch soccer on the TV and get fired up unless I'm in Europe and I'm wearing a jersey of a player that I've never heard before. And then I'm in a pub fighting the other team just because we feel like it. You know, that's the only time I get fired up for soccer. So I can't call myself a World Cup expert, but I will say it is really amazing and remarkable to see all of these Europeans coming to America, always being told by their media and their friends that America's so evil and dangerous, it's a terrible place to live, and they come here and they're shocked by our quality of life. America really is supreme. We are better than every other nation on earth. We have our problems, whether it's demographics and many other things as well. But when you live here and you travel to other places, yeah, their tourist spots are great. But when you get down to the day-to-day life of a European or someone from the rest of the world, you realize how amazing America truly is.
Yeah, and you know, to talk about the fact that people don't know white people exist, that we don't, like, we have an identity. We're talking a lot about identity today. Check out this woman as well. She's the female version of Erling Haaland. This is her driving. I mean, that's her at the top. That's him at the bottom. When I said we have a distinct group of people and we do look alike, that's kind of scary, actually. Joining me to talk about finding a woman that looks like a man is resident producer Georgie. Welcome back.
Yeah, hey everybody, it's Georgie. Good to be back. Quick shout out to our Clippers, US_Monarch and Groiper Firestick. Groiper Firestick, he is taking a little sabbatical, a little hiatus for a while. I'm not exactly sure why. Some stuff is going on, so pray for Groiper Firestick. We don't really know exactly what's going on, but for all the clips, go to US Monarch for I guess the foreseeable future. So if you're interested in clipping for the show, hit me up on Twitter at SithLordGroiper. Otherwise, let's have a good show.
All right, so let's talk about our identity here for a second by talking about what's happening today. Today is the I guess world premiere of the Odyssey, Christopher Nolan's absolute global epic, basically almost the same budget as Frisco's Universal Studios. And let's see how that's doing today. Look that up. That's kind of crazy. Achilles was seen today.
There he is.
There he is.
He is looking good.
Dude, absolute Chad.
Yeah.
Chad Mager.
Dyke
honestly.
Tyson is here.
Dude.
In the, also, speaking of that, how did he get into Kai Schwimmer's closet? You know what I mean?
That is a Kai suit, dude.
Yeah, how did that happen?
That is
how
a
did that
Kai
happen?
suit.
The Odyssey premiered, and like as we mentioned, you know, apparently Achilles' heel was just gender dysphoria, and you know, the gods had the ability to create, you know, Titan. Well, I actually didn't create. I don't know if they created the Titans. Maybe they did. I'm not familiar, but you know, Titans and these half human, you know, half gods, but they never thought about just giving Achilles some TRT so he could finish his job. Like, you know what I mean?
Real.
Did we need that? Like,
Well,
hormone therapy was too big for Zeus?
The worst part is I think Achilles is on TRT, and this is the result, actually.
Well, I saw him, she, it, they, alien, actually boxing the other day.
Oh, yeah.
And they've got a six-pack, so I mean, like, it's doing something for them. But
A
you
girl
know,
being skinny?
I
Not
saw
hard.
I saw somebody tweet out the other day a good like reference point for these epics would be for me to believe this movie. Achilles would have to be able to at least kill me, and then for Helen of Troy, I would at least have to want to do her. That's like a good reference point for this movie to be believable and to be enjoyable. Neither of those things are true. So
Do you remember when a movie wouldn't be good, but it had Jessica Alba in it, so it was interesting? I remember that. Do you also remember like when we had kids shows? They had like Miley Cyrus, or they had Shia LaBeouf's sister, or perhaps we had Princess Bride with our favorite Anne Hathaway. And the movies, like, remember this common theme in the 90s in movies? Yeah, this nerd, this ugly nerd girl, and it's like just a normal girl with like frizzy hair, and then she like gets a makeover, and it's like doom, 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 and then all of a sudden she's hot, and everyone's like, wow, I guess beauty is in the eye of the beholder. You can actually make yourself look better. That was what we used to talk about. It was a theme. And the Odyssey premieres today, and people are pretty upset about Lupita Nyong'o or whatever her name is. What's going on?
I think it's the Hollywood premiere. It's the Hollywood premiere. We can't see it for another 10 days.
Yeah, but it's world
just to clear that up.
It's a world premiere, just not in theaters, not theatrical.
Did you see the trailer?
Yes.
Did you see the like to dislike ratio?
Oh, yeah.
Insane.
The likes are 65,000 likes and the dislikes are 566,000. That is the worst
not
in
gonna see it.
Christopher Nolan's history.
Do you know I was at
By
a pool
far.
party this weekend? I want to play a video here, and I want Nikki to tell me what he thinks here because this is great. A couple clips here. You know, our identity is the fact that it's not just our present that's being stolen from us. You know, it's not just the daily experience as you walk around and as you try to buy a house. It's like the past too. Like we can't even be reminded about like our great epics. And people ask why Lord of the Rings was so good and why I do have somewhat of a. I believe that the Hunt for Gollum, I think is it called, whatever the new movie,
something like that.
I think it's going to be good, is because the casting directors, they're not following Academy Award requirements, and they're saying we do have black people. I heard this is from Peter Jackson. We are following Academy Award parameters because we do have black people in the film. They're playing the orcs. It's not a joke. That's a real. That was a real casting statement. They've always been in it. They play the orcs. Okay, and I think one
As
of the
they should.
I think one of the Wraith writers as well. Two of them are black as well because they're just tall and big and they play the role very well. Well, Lupita was just on a press tour this weekend talking about basically the backlash. Like, what do you think about the backlash? Listen to what she had to say.
I'd be like, so Homer, how do you feel about this screen time given to these women, considering how little you spent with them? Okay.
Dude, what a cock.
And then do you lean forward and look at him like that?
Yes.
If you had one thing to ask Homer,
You're a badass, dude. Kill yourself immediately.
yeah, it is the beta
In
symptom.
Minecraft.
The women did not get enough screen time on the Odyssey. You
No.
heard it here first.
Yeah, so that was the point, and it got even worse though too, because she was confronted directly on people saying that, she is not the most beautiful girl, and I actually, to kind of take the woke perspective, I did like a video that I saw on this that said like, hey, look, if you wanted to be woke, but like if you wanted to be woke and race swap, don't you think all black women are nasty? And he did bring up, by the way, I don't think very many black women are beautiful, but he did say, was Halle Berry unavailable? And like that is, but that is a true statement. It's like, could you not have found a black woman who's like a model or somebody who like, I'm not into that. It's not my thing, but like a black woman, you'd say at least objectively her proportions, her cheekbones, she's at least for her race, she's the better looking one of them. It's like, when you go to the pound, and it's like the one dog that's not a pit bull mix. It's not necessarily the best dog you can choose. It's still a dog, but at least it's not going to eat your child, and we're going to blame it on its previous owners. Listen to this.
The most iconic character I played is Helena Troy, and she's known for her beauty.
Yeah.
But my big question is, who's the woman behind the beauty? Because when that's all you're known for, that must be burdensome.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of like that must be frustrating
next
for
to the
her
real
amongst
Helena
many,
Troy.
many other
Things
things.
going on than just
Yeah.
my beauty, right?
Absolutely.
Wait, did you hear that real
The
fast?
most
Let me replay that
iconic
last
character
part.
I
Listen to
played
that.
is Helena. That must be burdensome.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of like that must be frustrating for her
Yeah,
amongst many, many
I've got
other things.
going on than just
Yeah.
my beauty, right?
I've got other things going on than just my beauty. And I think that phrase articulates sort of the problem of society at the moment, is like, we've got a lot of things going on in society. We've got a lot of things going on in the West other than safety, other than financial security, other than a future that we are proud of, other than neighborhoods our kids can play in, other than food that we can afford that doesn't kill us. Like, we do have a lot going on per se. It's just not exactly the things that are good and are what we are known for and should be known for. You said that was the other Helen of Troy. That was Helen of Troy Plus.
Yeah.
Disney Plus version, plus sized as well.
Well, there's so many black actors they could have picked for Helen of Troy that would have been better. I put one in the script here. There's an image that I put in there. Look at this. I mean, this is the girl from Game of Thrones. She played Khaleesi's like servant or whatever. I mean, that's an objectively better option. Can we agree on that? Or
Yeah.
Yeah, because that girl's like mulatto. And I
Yeah.
think that's sort of like, I think the standard for like when black women are attractive is like,
right, when they look white.
well, yeah. It's like, I've always said this, when they have like, when it looks like a white girl with frizzy hair and like kind of like extremely permanently tanned skin.
I love when
you
a
know?
white girl looks a little Italian like that. You know what I mean?
A little Italian.
Yeah, that's
Real.
Like she could be from Cyprus or something. You wouldn't even know. You wouldn't know.
Yeah, she's a Cypriot.
She could be like half Turkish, half Greek.
Yeah.
Raped by a Turk.
She
Her
could
parents
be,
were.
you know, Georgie's sister or something like that.
Well, I don't know.
you know?
Turks don't have curly hair, but I mean, I guess.
Close enough, I guess.
Yeah, I agree with our chat here. Frater Boots said Candace Owens should have been Helen. That would have been so base.
Would have taken that, bro.
And should have been like Achilles was killed by his necklace. Okay, but it was actually really great. Dude, seriously though, it's a matter of time before we get a Odyssey commercial with Diddy and Charlie Kirk and Epstein and you know, like it's just it's a matter of time.
In an Agartha edit.
Yeah, and I only brought that up because that's happening today. It's relevant, and it's kind of like you know, I was at a pool party. I don't know what you were doing. You were at the Ye concert.
Yeah.
I went to a pool party at my friend's house, and the kids are into these new things called silicone babies. This is not a joke. They're back into it. They're like heavy babies they're $900.
Yeah.
$900, and kids were all showing them to me because I was with my friends, and I put this picture up with their kids. I said, celebrating the 4th with my family, and I put up myself with the babies, and the amount of comments on these videos were like, I love Mike. He's
It was
like,
just
beautiful.
Bait. It was bait.
Yeah, people are like, what kind of man is proud of being estranged from his family after he's the one who tore it apart by fucking some evil skank? You actually think what you did earns you the Chad points or some shit. It doesn't. And people are like, put this in his future Netflix documentary, worst ex ever.
Okay.
And everyone's like, but like
now
it's
they
like,
just made it gay.
yeah, but like people were getting like losing your family because you were a dumbass. It's nothing to be proud about. Okay, well, we don't need to get into it, but all this is like a fake narrative. And
I saw a comment in there that said, "This is pretty rifty." I like that.
yeah, and I
Rifty.
I like rifty.
put up. I was with my kids yesterday. Bought them some fish. Are the fish still alive? That's a question.
Yes.
Yes, they are. No, but
Definitely.
But Australian Ben, Australia Talk. He said he was even getting like messages from people. I bring that this is a good conversation here before we look at the next part here. He was like, dude, I'm getting messages from people that you're on like some sort of a drug crash out and you're like raising
Yeah,
dolls.
it's from this picture,
Yeah, you're
right?
raising
Yeah.
dolls as your family and you're having like a mental breakdown right now. You're crashing on the internet. I go, I just like put up a picture of me with my little like niece's dolls. Like, it's like, I didn't put them up because they're kids. You know, you don't put minors up. And he's like, everyone's like freaking out. I got messages from people, are you okay? And I'm like, dude, the internet has ruined fucking people's perception of reality so badly, like so badly that like, this is not even a joke. I thought that this was such an obvious troll. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I thought it's like low level bait where it's like people would be like, they're so cute, man. Glad you got your kids back. Like, I've already told people I've had my kids for many months now, and we can already watch old videos to understand some of the drama. Should never have had them. They weren't taken away for any other reason. And I got them back because they legally shouldn't have gone. And now I'm making fun of the situation because that's what you do when there's dark periods of your life. You know, some woman does something crazy to you. You don't sit around and mope about it. You make a joke. But the internet doesn't know reality and they can't understand things. So the problem with this is,
And they will be getting rage baited.
well, like, no, but I meant like whether it's
lot more.
whether it's the Europeans, you know, the Europeans thinking America is like some country it's not. Like, the media really does have this grip on people where people really think I'm like on drugs and raising baby dolls and stuff. And we might keep going with it.
Yeah,
But
we will.
We will.
And we will.
We should. I should have like some videos like rocking a baby to sleep. And it's like, dude, we should have like rocking to sleep, but it's him in the crib with his face and the thing. It's like, good night, son. and it's I have a crib there.
We need to get a black baby for Goodnight SNEAKO.
Dude.
Like a little monkey baby.
Dude, I have two
Good night,
kids.
SNEAKO.
Dude, imagine the kids' beds with the that I have here with the bluey bedding and the cars bedding, and it's you and Nikki in the beds. And I'm like, shh, good night, sons.
Yeah.
You thought they were twinks. They were actually my kids.
Dude, I will not be doing that.
We need
I
a
will
picture of you
not
holding
be
both of
doing
us in
that.
your arms somehow.
Dude,
It's like
can
you have one
someone
of us
AI
in
that?
each of your
Can someone
arms.
AI
Well, we
that
already
well?
have you holding Georgie as an African woman.
No,
feeding
I
him
mean a
from your
real.
tit.
We need to be dressed up and like. No, we can't have like a binky in our mouth for that. That's a little too far.
Brother.
I don't think we could dress up like babies.
I don't-
Do you
you're-
like the Beryllium diaper post?
Oh, bro.
Me and Nikki will get in diapers, and Elijah will just hold us in his arms.
You're signing me up for things that I did not agree to, bro. I did not agree to this.
The sad part is the Vrillium diaper post, as I mentioned, is AI. It's not real.
Well, according to you.
It's not real.
I think it's
he
real.
called me about it when it happened. He's like, I never had a picture in a giant diaper. Where would you even get that? And I'm like,
Well, I totally believe
Georgie
it was
knows.
real, and I think it was real. I think it was totally accurate.
Telepath Dragon said, no fun allowed.
Yeah.
No fun allowed. Also, for those of you guys that are watching on our other YouTube channel, we're not going to be streaming there much because there's no notifications on that channel, on the Slightly Offensive channel. We just want to let you know that we're on the Rift TV channel. We will be uploading the lives starting on Wednesday to this channel, or portions of it. But we have a different channel called Rift TV. This show's primarily on X. We're on Rumble as well. And I just want you guys to know, we'll put the link to the Rumble. Make sure you subscribe.
I don't know.
Should be doing that.
The YouTube numbers are doing pretty well today, actually.
I
I think people just didn't know. Like I posted the YouTube link in the Rumble chat earlier because people were asking.
Anyone just keep going there until we keep getting it up? Okay, fine. We can do that.
well, then
we'll
we-
upload it to the other channel then.
Well, we'll have to talk about it, honestly. We'll
Someone
see how the numbers
Duo
do today.
Shaquian also said in the YouTube chat, raising dolls is your family, LeMayo. It's actually true. But like, you understand what I'm saying here is that the problem with this, with the 4th of July and this whole conversation the last week is it's really hard to know what the hell's actually going on because the media is so deceptive. The algorithms are so destructive that it's like we don't really even know what's happening. We don't actually really know. Like, you would think that Germany is like 100% Muslim, but it's like, I think it's like less than 10% or something, right?
I think it's like 15.
Yeah.
Really?
Something like that.
Well, it's still like 83% white. It means they got 20 good years left on them. Coming down here, let's talk about America. You guys, we were talking about this story here about the deadly parasite.
Yeah, this is relevant to where we live.
Yes.
Because this is particularly in Texas. This hit us very hard, and I think we all know why. You know, we have Indian immigrants working in all our restaurants, and they're not washing their hands after they shit when they make their food. And that's literally what they're saying this is from. It's from people shitting and not washing their hands and preparing your food. That's what this is.
Yeah, remember this. So there's this new flesh-eating parasite that's causing explosive diarrhea. And the reason why I bring up it's probably Indians is because India has the highest rates of diarrhea deaths in the world, more than our homicide rate. Think about it, more than black people kill people in America per capita, per 100,000 people. I think it's, 8 times? Yeah, I think it's 8 times the amount. 800% more people in India per capita die from diarrhea-causing parasites. We influx a bunch of Indians into our country.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's like
then,
a 5x too, compared to our homicide rates.
No, it's 8x.
8x.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds
it's
right.
8x. But also, like, remember this. Do you remember when Chipotle had the cholera outbreak and they thought it was due to like bad kale or something? And it turned out it was just like employees not washing their hands and getting poop in the like E. coli. It was actually E. coli, not cholera. And it was E. coli poisoning in the food because the chefs were literally, this is gross, but it was traced to poop under the nails, touching the meat, poop under the nails in the food. And it almost put Chipotle out of business. I think that's when they actually had to sell to a larger investment company, investment capital company, and now we get smaller portions because of that. So, you know, these people do change our culture. You know, even like Chipotle, it's like, it sucks. Chipotle kind of sucks. And it makes you feel sick. You know, it's the quality of Chipotle. You don't feel good. It has like too much salt or something. But it is changing who we are. And I think people don't realize that when you say you become the third world, it's like, you know, we have obviously bioweapons like the ticks going on in the prairies. That's weird. I still don't know who's, you know, the government or somebody's causing that. But then we have the tick problem with what's that called? Lyme disease, causing meat allergies and kidney problems. And now we have flesh-eating diarrhea parasites that we never saw in the United States. Oh, well, we can't talk about that.
Yeah, the browner this country gets, the more shit like this we're going to see, just objectively. I mean, it's in Texas particularly, and Texas is what now? It's like 48% white or something like
40.
that. Where we live,
39 actually.
Where we live specifically, it's less than 50% white, and it's mostly Indians. And I do think it's Corpus Christi is affected the most by this for some reason. I'm not exactly sure. I think they have a lot of immigrants as well. But it has worked its way up to here. And, you know, the more Indians we bring into this country, the more Mexicans that come here illegally, we're going to get a lot more illness, chronic illness.
How is it happening? Let's take a look at the heat wave in Europe for a second and see how the doctors and engineers are cooling off there.
What is she doing, bro?
What is SNEAKO doing?
Look how like they do like their hair like they're Nairobi from the Matrix.
Bro, what is y'all doing, man? You feel so good. It's a new day.
I do like their spirit.
Yeah, why are they always like singing and dancing?
They're a singing, dancing people. That's what they do.
They're just more spiritual than you, Elijah. You just want to understand.
Yeah.
I remember a different level, a different plane.
One time at my church, I grew up in a bit of a cult, and I remember, this is like my parents were raised in a white LA primarily, and they're like most boomers that just kind of like they weren't racist. They're not racist at all. They just like boomers have a lot of like race stereotype ideas, but they're not racist. And I remember the worship leader was Mexican, of course. Won't say his name because he's a private person. And I remember he came to me and he was like really mad at my dad. He was really mad at my dad for being racist. And I was like as we talk on the show, my dad's like the least racist person that I know. Like just absolutely loves the immigrants here. And he was like, he's racist. I go, what did he say? Like, what did he do? And he was like, well, he said like, we need to get like, he's basically almost dissing his singing. He's like, we need to, for like, I think it was for Easter. Like we need to get like a really good singer, like a black person, because they all know how to sing, really well. He's like, they don't all know how to sing really well. And I looked at him and I go, well, on average, if you take a black person, a white person, blacks probably do know how to sing better than whites in general. I said, they do have that. There is something very rhythmic and, very drum and bass based people.
Dude, the accusations of racism based off like saying positive stereotypes is crazy, dude. I remember I was in 6th grade and I told this black dude who was visiting our school. I went to a private school, so he was visiting to see if he wanted to go. And he like jumped up on a table that was really high, just straight off the ground. I was like, dang, bro, you got like black man hops, bro. Nice. And then he went and told the teacher, and they dragged me to the principal's office after that. It's like, okay, you don't want to hear positive stereotypes? I'll give you the opposite. Yeah, you can't do that now. We can't do that, Elijah. It's not allowed.
No. And that being said, the stereotypes are interesting.
This is my favorite story of the night.
Yeah. So, SNEAKO woke up from his nap. Had a lot of good night wishes one evening, got up and decided, well, it's actually a really smart pivot. I'm going to say this real fast before anyone like talk shit. Okay. Like, if you look at Jack Doherty from, Miami, like a young streamer, and you see someone with a lot of money, he had a recent video, Togi had a recent video too. If you don't know who these people are, good, you don't need to know who they are. And they talked about how like there's really no organic content creation today. We know in the political world on one hand, it's all propped up by billionaires and investors, and it's not really real. Shout out Rift 2025. But but I'm just joking. But it is propped up ideologically, and same thing goes with the modern streamer world. You basically have to, if you're in the West, you either have to run an OnlyFans outlet. That's what all these streamers do. Is they have all these OnlyFans girls, and they don't make money off the streaming. It's OnlyFans and like gambling. Shout out gambling. It's OnlyFans and gambling. I don't have a problem with gambling. Some people do. I don't want to get into the OnlyFans side. I've been offered already, even recently, to start managing some OnlyFans people. And I don't want to do it, okay? Because, I'm not an Orthodox Christian. I'm like, it's like whatever the bi-curious version is of Orthodox. It's like I'm Orthodox curious. I'm like adjacent. I'm interested in it. I think it's the truth. And I'm like, going through a hard year. So it's a little hard to like commit yourself to things because I'm not really inauthentic about it. Got railroaded. That being said, I'm like an Indian trying to get on a train. Just, you know what I mean? Splat. But basically,
you're jumping off the train yourself.
Yeah.
You are the Indian hanging off.
I'm hanging
getting hit by a light pole that's
holding my silicone baby,
flipping upside down, getting hit by a pole
on the roof with my silicone babies, breastfeeding off my artificial breast. No, and I would say this. So there's that, and then the other side is too, like Togi was saying, like you don't realize these are all like venture capitalists, investors that basically are like trying to get young people into certain products and things and brands, and they have spend hundreds of thousands of dollars a quarter on clippers. It's not really organic growth. Anything you see that looks organic, it's just really good marketing. And so it's like, well, then what do you do when you're trying not to do OnlyFans, when you're trying not to like sell your soul to the Jews like Clav or whatever? Well, you can just appeal to the third world. It's sort of what Hollywood does with appealing to China. That's really what SNEAKO did. He just said, like, I'm going to become a fake Muslim. Like, he's just going to, just become Muslim and drink off camera. You just saw the recent clip. He's, like, ordering alcohol, and then he's, like, condemning alcohol.
Pork. He's eating pork. Ribs on his stream, like, 4 times.
Muslim niggas will literally be like, dude,
what the fuck? This is pork? It's like, yeah, bro, it's pork ribs. It's barbecue pork ribs.
Bro, that literally says the pork tonkatsu soup, brother. pork tonkatsu. It's like, oh, really? Yeah.
Performative religiosity to the max.
This is like the Muslim ortho bro. It's like just trying to make people think you're Muslim, but it appeals to the third world because they're culturally Muslim anyways, not necessarily
That's
religiously
most of his
Muslim.
audience too.
Yeah, and so I guess he was in New York, which is culturally very Muslim now. We have a Muslim mayor.
Yeah.
Listen to this.
Takbir! Allahu Akbar! Oh no! Fuck you! This is the Islamic Republic of New Yorkistan. Islam will be in every household. Inshallah, the whole world is Muslim. Welcome to Mamdani's New York. You see this city? You see how it looks? Inshallah, your city looks.
Yeah, SNEAKO, real quick. You know, there are Islamic states that you can go to right now and you can live there. You can live in Islamic paradise, Iran. You can live there at any time. You could go with all your friends. You can move to Iran. You can live in your Islamic caliphate and you'll be happy. I don't understand why you need to change America and make it Muslim. This is a Christian country. What is the angle here? I don't understand it. Because at this point, it's just predatory. You know, it's not in good faith. He doesn't really care about America. He just wants to destroy America. It's about destroying America. And that's what it is. And so, SNEAKO, good night, SNEAKO. That's all I can say, honestly.
Yeah, Duo Shaquin also said, and then everyone clapped. It's like,
yeah.
Wow, that was a great speech, dude.
Beautiful.
Great speech, dude. Do you remember 2001? Anyways, it's like, it is interesting, though. It is interesting, and I'm bringing this up as an identity crisis, that a young American guy who is not actually Muslim, who, you know, I would say, like, probably doesn't want to run an OnlyFans. You know, I mean, he's a young guy. I'm not going to knock him for banging whores and, you know, eating pork and drinking or whatever. I mean, he's a young guy. He's got money. He's pretty worldly, and we all suffer with worldliness to an extent. And I don't understand. It's like, you know, hey, you want to work in media, you either got to sell out to Jews, you got to sell out to Jews through porn, or you need to become a Muslim. And it's like, that is kind of sad that our institutions are so lost, so captured, and so cucked that, like, this is kind of his only pathways as a brown person to get into all of this. And the saddest part is that, you know, it's hard to understand what religion he'll be next, you know, because this guy is, you know, he's like most young people, has changed his identity like 7 to 10 times. Like, next thing you know, he's going to be playing Achilles in the Odyssey too. You know, you have no idea.
Or he'll be Helen of Troy, dude. Honestly, that
true.
might be the next pivot.
Yeah.
My interpretation of this SNEAKO thing is what you just said there in the beginning. It's an identity crisis. And I think it's one of the biggest travesties. It's not just on an individual level, but on a societal level as well. The mixing of the mixing of cultures on a level that's not sustainable. Whether it's multiculturalism to where you have 100 nations all in one in the United States of America, but then also on an individual level, he's too mixed. He's Haitian, Filipino, Jewish, and what's the last one that he's also? He's mixed like 4 different ways. And yeah, Jewish, white, Filipino, Haitian. That's right. Hungarian is his white. So you've got 4 different races, ethnicities, all thrown into one, and he comes out as our favorite new term, mystery meat American. He's the definition of a mystery meat American. So he is everything and nothing. You can't be everything and have a cohesive identity. It means you are nothing. So he doesn't really have a cultural or racial identity to stand on. Therefore, he has to look outside of that to find where his identity can come from. And he didn't like Catholicism. He rejected that. And he found that Islam, because it's also this Arab desert religion, he looks like them. Like if you were to throw SNEAKO in the middle of Saudi Arabia, he wouldn't really stand out. He would look pretty Arab. And so he looks like the ethnicity, and also it's a universal religion. So now he has found his people group. It's an identity crisis, and you can translate that onto our society at large. We're too multicultural now, so we're losing an American identity because we're trying to be everything, and if you're everything, you're nothing.
Right.
Well,
Look at this real fast.
If he really cared about what he believed, he would be in those countries protesting. You know, he would be living there specifically. We had a clip from Jackson Hinkle.
I'll play it in a second, but I wanted to
segue into that.
Well, I want to segue to that, but by saying with his identity, this is just about his identity here. You know, is like, it's not just Muslim, because maybe he doesn't want to live in a Muslim nation. Maybe that's the point, is that he feels that the political, power structures are maybe a little bit corrupted, or that there's been too much, he might say the U.S. intervention in the Middle East has made some of the places unstable and unable to be lived in. So, it's fair enough to kind of make the United States a little more sympathetic to Islam. Like, you have to kind of think about the counter arguments of your enemies, of what they might excuse themselves. So you say, okay, well then don't go to somewhere based on religion, go somewhere based on your race, go to Haiti. And obviously we would understand that, again, if it's geopolitical reasons, then probably when Haitians come here or when Muslims come here, they wouldn't suffer with the same problems back home. Let's see how Haitians are doing this weekend.
A truck driver in a crash that killed a Pennsylvania state trooper should not have been in this country. The feds say a Haitian national living in Massachusetts veered his semi off Interstate 81 last week and hit Trooper Michael Pahira Jr. DHS says that driver lost his parole status last year and was ordered to leave the U.S. CB Cotton has more on this tragic story. CB.
Hey, John. So investigators say this past Wednesday, Michael Bond, an illegal immigrant from Haiti, was driving that tractor trailer, which veered off onto the shoulder of Interstate 81 in Schuylkill County, Pennsylvania, crashing into another semi and fatally striking state trooper Mike Pahira, who was conducting another commercial vehicle inspection. Bond now faces a slew of charges for this chain reaction crash, including homicide by vehicle. DHS tells Fox Bond entered the U.S. in July 2024 under the Biden administration's humanitarian parole program, later applying for temporary protected status, but his application was denied. Federal sources tell Fox.
Wait, to stop there real fast. What's crazy about all this, when I'm talking about Haiti and these people like here, is it's like, look, he can't follow the rules. Like, I have so much paperwork right now. How are these people figuring out how to file TPS? Like, do you know what I mean?
I know.
Like really, how is a Haitian that can't even drive a truck handling like deadlines on legal paperwork?
They're literally
They're just filing it for them.
Well, they have people, it's usually white women in certain offices that are doing it all for them.
Yeah.
It's like a job office. You go to a job office, look for a job, they'll just like do it all for you effectively.
That's what I was thinking
here. Yeah.
I just was going to say, that like these people don't have any appreciation for our country. And it's like with SNEAKO, going back to this, it's like, look, dude, you guys are here because you do not want to live with your own people. Then you come here and you live with your own people and you wonder why we're mad, why we're angry. Because a little bit after this, we're going to look at the white man's getting a little angry again. And another big L today for minorities. After this weekend, they tried to shame white people for being proud of their identity. This happens every single time, every single moment. I don't have anything to say negative to Jackson Hinkle because I've just known him for a long time, and I've never thought he was right wing. Ever since I've known him, he's been a socialist or a communist, and I have grown up in large cities and always known socialists and communists. And before anybody here says anything about Jackson, just a reminder that if we ever need asylum in Russia, Jackson has offered that to us. And so I want you all to remember that.
Well,
Don't
I like
bite
what
the hand that gives you asylum.
I like what Jackson is doing relative to what SNEAKO is doing. I mean, that's why I had this video in here. It's like, well, SNEAKO, this could be you. You could be doing it all appropriately. You could do it right. This is how you do it right. This is what you do.
Well, he's not ideologically just like he's not Muslim. He's not like he's ideologically like a white person is. We do oppose communism, but to be fair, he kind of did defect to the East. Right. So I can't really be mad. I don't think he even lives here, to be completely honest. So check this out.
That's what we want SNEAKO to do.
Down with USA. Down
This is in Iran, right?
USA.
Yeah. It's like almost anything negative about it. He's like, down to the USA.
No, because he defected. He doesn't even
sound fired up.
Zionists.
He's got a gun in the back of his head.
Down with Zionists. Down with USA.
He doesn't even sound excited to say that.
Israel.
Israel.
With Israel. Down with
Yes, Nico, this could be you. This could be you.
That's what I'm saying. Go to the country.
Exactly.
No, because this is what I've always told Jackson for years. It's like, dude, well then if you don't like the USA, dude, if like I don't care. Like I go to other countries and they don't like us, and it's like, look, do I like the fact that people want to kill me because I'm an American? No. But when you live in another country and like you see what we've done to other countries, you go, okay, I could get it. But then like, yeah, if you hate America, why would you then move to America, right? Like that's kind of my point. Is like, you can ideologically be consistent by living in another country. And I will always respect people who are ideologically consistent. Doesn't mean they're not my enemy. Like, we could go to war. Like, what do you think about the honor of war is? Why do you think that a lot of times the generals don't kill each other? You don't, take out the leader, like the president, because you go, look, in the end, we signed a truce. We are enemies and we do not believe each other, but at least we have honor. Like, at least we live out what we say. And look, we don't want to live together because we don't like you and you don't like us, but maybe we don't believe you should be completely eradicated. However, saying down with the USA, I did notice he also didn't say death to the USA because I think he wants to come back and visit. So probably not good to call for violence.
Right.
I think he could have probably done something. Like, jokes aside, obviously that's like fucking crazy to be with the Ayatollah doing shit like that, and that's absolutely nuts. And I'm blown away by this all the time. I'm thinking like smoking cigars like a year ago in Miami with him, and like this guy's in Tehran with like the Ayatollah. I don't know what's going on there.
Well, I agree with the anti-Israel chance.
Well,
that's pretty based of him. It's just the down with the USA.
But if he had said something like down with the American Zionist alliance, down with the American Zionist empire, like, I could understand what he means by that, because he's like, talking about the government and this, and I want the American Zionist empire to fall too, not America to fall. I just don't want to be the world's police anymore, and I don't want to sit around and do international policy based off of Israeli Zionist influence. But ultimately speaking, like, it is kind of fucking traitorous though, and like, if in actuality, like, I would be surprised, as long as Laura Loomer has breath in her body, if that guy's ever allowed entry back in the United States. Like, I would not be surprised if they, on a security level, revoked his, Like, I don't know if they can because he's a citizen, but, it's like, he was a Bernie bro, back in the day.
Well, they would just arrest him as soon as he gets here, and then they would charge him for treason or something.
Like sedition or something. I don't think you can, like, go to a foreign enemy that we're at active war with and, like, support the foreign government.
Yeah, that's treason.
That's a
Pretty sure it's
definition of
treason.
Yeah,
so you should probably stay over there, my nigga.
Yeah.
Don't come here.
Invite SNEAKO, please.
I mean, that's just a definition
SNEAKO,
of
go
a
do that.
traitorous act. Like, you have totally sold out your country to the third world now. You have sold out yourself, your morals, and your nation to the third world.
But
for
is
what?
Iran the
I don't
third
know what
world?
he's giving
Is it?
him. I mean, I just don't care. I can't get behind that. I understand. Like, you were his friend, and we might want political asylum in Russia one day.
We may need it.
But look, I just can never get behind that. Like, you were born in the greatest country the world's ever seen at any point in human history, and then you decided to chant down with the USA on behalf of Muslims who want our nation destroyed. So yeah, I can never support that.
Yeah, I like
for a second.
I like what I'm loving the duo Shao Quinn person tonight in the chat. In the
Down
YouTube.
with USA.
No, yes, maybe he was just saying down with UC.
SA.
Down with UCSA. Yeah. Down with UCSA, and he's just talking about directions going down. Up.
He's like, I'm down.
Up,
No, it's like, I'm
USC.
down with you. I'm down with you.
UCSA.
Yeah.
I'm down UCSA.
It's like, I fuck with you, SA. I'm down with you, SA.
I'll see you in St. Petersburg. No, but that's like not a joke. By the way, did you know this? Real talk. I'm not gonna get into the details. Do you remember when I was like, do you remember when Russia Today like unfollowed me and I was like, what?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
What the fuck?
They refollowed you, right?
Yeah, but I reached back out to the government and they're like, we're back good again.
Good.
So it's like,
thank God.
I'm back good with the Russian government. I am back good with the Russian government. And it's like because I don't want to be bad with the Russian government, because I think that my government here in the USA is more likely to put me in jail or to cause harm to me, which they have, which I know like a lot of people on the internet don't believe, and I'm not going into the details, but like, from Charlie Kirk on, there's been a lot of things that have happened, James O'Keefe, etc., and people don't want to believe it because it's annoying. But the amount of, government intrusion I've had in my life over the years, that's all I can really say. I can't really say much else than that. The amount of government intrusion is like so strong in my life that a lot of it is like, can't really talk about it because it would be dumb. And I think that Jackson, what happened here, this is like my personal opinion on the Jackson Hinkle thing. I think that because I can't say I know things because that would also be like violating his privacy. But let's just say this, at a certain point, the US government does deem you as a foreign agent, and maybe rightfully so, but it doesn't take a lot. And I would say that the United States government, I'm somebody that they really don't like. And you'll see the pressure from outside sources of people get so much pressure that they eventually have to capitulate and conform, because then they don't have any other options. And I say this, I have sympathy, and I might be the only person on the right. And this is what happens when you know people, like when you know them for years and years and years and years, and you know them, like you go to parties with them and baby showers and things. I actually feel a ton of sympathy for Laura Loomer. And that is a weird statement. It's hard to justify the things she does today, but I know I would never do that to her either. I know how much of a corner she got backed into and then capitulated. And so, like, she's a woman though too, so like I don't expect women to not capitulate. Like I just she's a woman in politics and women do capitulate. I'm at a point right now where I think most people with the things that have happened to me, you know, that's all I'll say, would have capitulated, because it's like I really look at these people and I'm like, how do I counter what they did? Right? How do I counter what these people have done to me? And I have actually thought about things like to where I've made sure that I have asylum backgrounds. I know the cities and I have safe houses in countries, and I've had to make alliances because people go, but you know, you don't have a ton of views and you don't have this. What is Jackson Hinkle's views? Does he have a ton of views? Well, maybe for like foreign people. Of Americans, no. But Jackson's another one of these people that it's not streaming, but it's the white version of what SNEAKO did, is like he became so enamored with his ideology that it borderlined treason, and maybe was. So I'm not even defending it. And so that was
Jackson?
But no, but previous,
we just watched.
Textbook,
but previously, I'm saying in the past years of knowing him, it got so much, and I don't want to give away my life or my plans. Is that like I know I have multiple offers in multiple countries to do work in countries for their countries, which would require me to go get citizenship in that country and risk never coming back to the U.S. I've been accused of doing that for India, for El Salvador, even for Russia many, many times. I have never done that. I've never taken any foreign money.
You might have to soon.
But I might have to soon.
You might have to.
And obviously the custody issue, which is a bitter fight. I'm very happy to have made progress. Is the only thing that's keeping me from genuinely considering something like that, because trying to do what I need to do to beat the enemies that are as strong as they are right now, things I literally just can't legally explain them, because I'll get in trouble. I'll just say that, I'll just get in trouble. Is that I would have to go and do them from another country, because if I explained them here and did what I needed to do, I'd go to jail. So or worse. So I have to go to another country. And I think a lot of these people, from someone who's in that position currently, and it's just kind of like, what did he do? I don't know. Like I was talking, by the way, I was talking to someone, a girl that I know today, and she was like, "Oh, I think I'm gonna go buy a Mercedes, and I think I'm gonna buy a house, and like this and that. Like, I don't really like to work. I work like 2 days a week." And I was like, I love the life of women today, like hot women. I go, it's just like, I'm gonna buy a Mercedes, and I just do a couple fun things, and work nightlife, yippity yap. And I'm like, how do you defeat the government to buy bread? That was my thought today. How do I defeat agencies of the largest empire of the world so I'm not homeless? And that's really genuinely like what's in the heart of a man. You know what I mean? And it's like, wow, I wish it were that easy in life to do that. If you're an ugly woman, it's over. Okay, it's over. You gotta just go on Tinder and get racked out by chads. But other than that, I mean, I bring this up because people are not going to get this aspect of things. Is that like Snowden, who's in Russia? That's why I'm gonna go over to Nikki on this. Like Snowden is in Russia, it's like he doesn't have a choice. He doesn't have a choice. He did, I believe, what was right. It was treason, but it was right. And I don't think that what he's doing is correct. But I do think that perhaps this is my last opinion on Jackson. I do believe that Jackson fundamentally wants the Zionist regime to fall and sees it as a poison in the world. And he knows that the U.S. currently is occupied by Israel. And so as much as you love America or love being in America, the America you love no longer exists. And you cannot fix the world without removing the Zionist occupation of the United States. And so he's just sided with the people who are fighting the United States and the Zionists, both Russia and Iran, within the trifecta, and China. He's been very good to me of kind of like, hey, dude, you're fighting Zionists. The government and Zionists have messed up your life in many ways. And I say this too, I've admitted, I've done things to mess up my own life, but they've exploited those things. If you come over here, you can have money, protection, food, and you can still be online and do your life, and you can still be safe. And what's sad is he's right. And that's what I am. It's sad with these right. It's like my options right now might only be, move to Russia or do what Laura Loomer did. But I'm holding out because I believe in God, and I believe there's an alternative. And if I'm having a custody battle here in Texas and I know I'm going to win, then I believe that God wants me here for a purpose, and it's to hate Indians. So That's what I'm going to do.
Beautiful and amazing. Well, I think there's a big difference between what Edward Snowden did and then what we just saw from Jackson Hinkle. I would say Edward Snowden carried out a patriotic act of treason. What he did was on behalf of the American people, not against us. Because what Jackson Hinkle's doing, he is supporting those who would not only inflict damage upon the American government, but the American people at large as well. They don't just hate the American government, they hate our way of life and our people as well. I just think those two things are completely separate. And I've never seen Edward Snowden, going out chanting with the Ayatollah, down with America. So.
No, I didn't say now. I said where he was, but I'm going to say that like at a certain point, it's survival. And it's like, what's more noble, just being in jail or fighting for yourself? I mean, dude, look, the founding fathers were treasonous too.
Yeah. No, I have no problem with what Snowden did. I have no problem with him fleeing to Russia. That makes complete sense. They were going to throw him in jail for the rest of his life. If not, technically, they could execute him because that's an act of treason. So I'm totally fine with what he did. Like I said, there's a moment in time in which men stand up to their own government. That's what the founding fathers did. That's what they wrote in our founding documents, that men have a right before God-given right to overthrow their government if it no longer serves the people. That's fine. And what, like I said earlier, Snowden, it was a patriotic act of treason. Jackson Hinkle, it's more of just I'm selling out. And also what you're trading Zionist capitalism for, we'll just say Zionist communism. Like, who started communism, brother? Like, who invented communism? Who perpetrated that and was behind the Bolshevik? Again, what's that word? What's that name? Bolshevik revolution in Russia? Like, come on, brother. Yeah, we're not siding with communism here, even if we have a serious problem with crony capitalists in America. We'll say that.
But I'll say something here that I like geopolitically how serious this stuff is. As a man who, I am not joking. Like in all of this situation stuff that has happened, people have been like, do you want to join? I've been offered to join an OnlyFans agency, both myself too. It's like people will pay to see you have sex with e-girls or whatever. And it's like, no, dude, look, dude, I'm not like, if people like, it's not who I am. Okay. I'm not just going around being promiscuous and stuff like that. It's not what I'm into. That's what the internet says. That's not what I'm into. And you have to know your identity as a man and who you are. And I think that the key thing is look, I love America so much that I'm not going to be on the stage of an enemy talking about being down with America. I think any speech, I gave a speech at the Russian embassy in Australia with Russian diplomats. And, I talked about the problem with American imperial power being influenced by foreign adversaries and things like that. And that's very tactful. It's true. And I was in Australia, in a Western country. I'm not, in Russia, I'm just saying to the Russians, I understand your gripe with the American regime, battling Ukraine, yada, yada.
I may have to marry a Russian wife pretty soon, so I wouldn't be fully opposed to...
Well, yeah, but I'm like, I haven't...
Yeah, but we don't support race mixing, and you're
Orthodox.
Greek, so yeah, stay away from our Aryan Russian women, bro.
Are Russians Aryan?
Also, some
Close enough.
Some are on the West, but also, I started seeing the Eastern Catholic Church in Russia. That's like legit. That's like the SSPX. It's like really legit.
The Eastern Catholic?
Yeah, like it's called the Eastern Catholic, and it's like so close to Orthodoxy. It's kind of crazy. I've been watching a lot about it. I watched a documentary about it.
Well, Eastern Catholics are a thing. It's
a separate thing.
It's called the
right.
It's called the Eastern Rite, or it's like the Eastern Rite or Greek Rite for the Catholic Church, and so they do their liturgy the same way that we do it in the Orthodox Church.
Yeah, look the same.
Yeah, but it's still tied to the Pope.
Yes, I know.
So they're in allegiance.
But
to
I'm
the
just
Pope.
like laughing because like in the West, the SSPX from the Catholics is getting excommunicated because they're trying to keep it traditional. But in the East, they're like 100% keeping it traditional. And I just see a lot of the religious tradition being upheld by the East and not the West. Okay, that's all I mean. Not that the Greeks are doing anything bad with Orthodoxy.
The more preferable country to live in as an Orthodox person is an Eastern European country. Like we don't really have a lot of churches here, which is a big problem for us specifically because it's hard to go. Especially when the one church we have here, we don't really like going to. It's not very inspiring. The music isn't very good. And it's like 40 minutes away. So, in Russia, you can go to the corner of every street and there's an Orthodox church.
You know what? To be fair, though?
That said, I was born an American, and there is something to be said about, patriotism and nationalism and loving the country that you are from. And under any circumstances, just like our forefathers, you can't abandon the land and the soil. It is a part of us. We were born here on it. So I think even if it ends up with me being in prison one day for my views against Israel or whatever it may be, it's a price I think that's worth paying, you know, at the end of the day. As long as what I did was, you know, created some kind of change in the culture or movement overall. I would hate to go to prison just for, I guess, like what I've done so far. I don't think they can, but you know, I would like to achieve something somewhat great before I get thrown in federal prison forever.
Well, let's
it has to be so be it. That's the
I'm
the
tied
feeling,
here.
and that's the spirit of a true American. And to quote one of the greatest living Americans right now, I was born in America. America's the only country I've ever known, and I will die for America. Well, can you say the same?
Yeah.
Well, I can say the same.
I can, yeah.
I will die for the America.
Begrudgingly, I can say the same.
I can say I will die for the values that founded America and for what it can still be.
So you're a traitor.
But I would not die for our government right now under the current edict.
So you're a traitor. Just say it.
Well,
just say it.
Well, I don't think
no, I tried trading Trump
my
coin.
name is Elijah Schaefer, and I'm a traitor.
I
to
tried
America.
trading Trump coin and lost all my money and made him rich. So I tried being a traitor, and Trump got me. So here's the deal. So this brings up a kind of about our identity, though, and what America could be. And I want to jump into the Patriot Front conversation here. This is very important. Over the weekend, water parks were exactly how you expected them to be.
Drowns and dies.
Damn, put your feet down. Put your feet down. Shit. What the hell are you doing?
It's like 3 feet tall. It's 3 feet deep.
She would have died, too. She wouldn't have figured it out. She would not have figured
even
that
the
out.
black said all she had to do was put her feet down. Right? You didn't have to know how to swim there. You just put. I'll admit,
such
though,
a good metaphor for their whole race.
I will admit, though,
just put your feet down, nigga.
As a
You know what? They never put their foot down. That's one thing. You know, they never put their foot down. It's time for them to put their foot down and really stand up, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like they never stand on business, man. So this is an allegory.
Yeah, they never really stand on business. But there was this narrative going around this weekend, Patriot Front. Before I get into anything, I actually want to watch this whole thing because I think
the speech.
Yeah, I think it was really beautiful and really well written.
It was well delivered
by
too.
Thomas Rousseau. And Patriot Front has grown a lot from what I've seen. Their numbers have grown a lot. And, you know, I'm not opposed to ever joining one of these groups. I'm really not. I think it'd probably be less risky for me just to go to Russia than to join one of these groups in terms of government intrusion.
Why would you ever want to join Patriot Front?
Oh, I meant just like join them and follow them around and like, you know, talk with them and hang out. Like not an official member, just like to.
We have more aura.
I'd like to join like a procession or hang out with them for a week, you know, and like, I mean, no one really has done a really good, you know, piece, puff piece on them, like meaning like not a puff piece, but just an accurate piece.
Do you know that Thomas Rousseau is from here? Thomas Rousseau is from Grapevine, Texas, and it went to Grapevine High School, which is just 15 minutes from here. Yeah.
Yeah, they're now
I think they started, I'm pretty sure Patriot Front started here.
His Grapevine High School is now being called the Curry Castle. So it's changed a lot. You know what I mean?
You can see where he was inspired from. You know?
Right. Well, Grapevine actually is a really beautiful city.
It is.
It is beautiful. Good wine and great train station. And you know,
Whoa, Doomsday Cracker says the whole Patriot Front roster was leaked to USA Today. All of them have been doxxed.
Is that true?
Was that
go ahead and
today?
look that up.
Doomsday, was that today? Was that very recent or was that old news?
Well, check this out, and we'll look it up while he'll look it up while we're playing this. Listen to this speech, and if this is off the cuff, good for him. But I think he memorized it. Listen to this.
We are content to celebrate independence on this day. We know what these vapid displays conceal. Our people are not independent. Our destiny is shackled to 100 competing nations imported to this soil, bringing with them countless incompatible interests. Our homeland has been turned into a squalid arena of profiteers and invaders, overseen by a spineless cast of traitorous politicians. We wish for sovereignty and liberty which cannot coexist with the conditions that have been forced upon us. A quarter millennia has now passed since America's violent birth, and nothing I can say will glorify independence more than the blood of our forebears that stains this continent, consecrating it forever with the immortal legacy of the men who died for so noble an objective as sovereignty. So we stand on the turning of an age and the making or breaking of our nation's destiny, and we must ask ourselves, under the watchful gaze of history, what is to be done? So dire is our circumstance, so extreme is our condition of peril, that the only way to secure our existence is to become all that we aspire to be. A defeated people was cast into this pit of a century, yet a nation exalted above all the rest will climb out of it. This is our task. Our national independence was seized by a natural aristocracy of our people, by the best of our Anglo-Saxon blood, waging war against tyranny to restore their ancient rights, not solely for themselves, but to bequeath it to their people and their posterity beyond that. Now, regime after regime, tainted with corruption, has wrestled this sovereignty away piece by piece and placed it in the hands of the few and the foreign. Our liberty as Americans is squandered upon the unassimilable masses. They know not how to use it, and we are done trying to teach them. Well,
like, what a great phrase. There's the unassimilable masses, and we're done trying to teach them like how to do it. Like it's like, hey, look, we've told you, and there's this famous quote from what's his name? You were listening today, the fat guy, comedian, big podcast. Tim Dillon. Yeah, he was like, how is there a non-racist way to just tell him, can you just try to be like us? Remember that one? He was like, just like, hey, like, I'm not racist, but like, maybe just stop acting like that and try to like do what we do.
Right.
And I was like, well, we've been doing that for 75 years now, 76 years actually. And it hasn't worked. Okay. And it didn't work, and it never will work. And that's sort of the issue here, is that mass migration, these things that have happened, you guys can watch the full speech on X. It's really good. Just type in Patriot Front. It should come up at the top. Thomas Rousseau. You know, I put out a tweet response to this that was pretty good. And, you know, I said something to the regards of, white men are angry again, and it's only going to get more extreme the more they ignore our warnings. And I really do believe when Andrew Tate says, hey guys, to brown people, white people are telling you that they're fed up and they're angry. And we find out 60% of Gen Z believes that, you know, there's gonna have to be some sort of violence probably in the future to correct the course of our country. It's a sad thing to say, but it's you could point to me in a place in history where violence wasn't necessary to accomplish extreme goals. There wasn't a place. And Thomas Rousseau also talked about, like, they call us traitors, they call us treasonous, but also like our founding fathers were traitors and treasonous too. So I bring up Thomas Rousseau as a foil to people like SNEAKO or to Hinkle, and that he's still waging the battle here. He's like, look, I don't care if I'm a traitor, if I'm treasonous here for what I'm doing, but this is our Anglo-Saxon right. This is our land. This is our place, our people, and it's built by our blood and soil, not just soil alone. And it's basically never going to change. And I thought it was funny. This whole story is just funny to me because there's this really famous picture that I'm going to bring up here in just a second that happened over the weekend where Patriot Front was on a bus, and they were sort of tying it to the Irina Zarutska videos that we've seen. It was all over CNN.
I have it in the script.
Yeah, I have it here. It's right here. It was in your script, but this is a real picture, by the way. So this is iconic, right? This is, the media loves this. You have a bunch of masked white people with glasses on, and everyone says, why are they masked? It's like, well, because you guys will ruin all of their lives for just being proud of their heritage. They're nonviolent. They're, if you look at they're activists. They're constantly helping in disaster zones. You know, the entire Fox News, everyone you hate calls them feds. Oh, I'm confident there are feds in there for sure. They are for sure infiltrated. Like, that's no shadow of a doubt, as we'll find out in a second. Like, informants are going to, in any organized group, there's going to be informants, which is probably, I think, why the Groypers don't formally form an organized core, because you're, you know, there are informants pretending to be Groypers on X, you know, fake Groyper accounts that are looking. There are a lot of, you know, fake e-girls that are just trying to blackmail you. And what's interesting here is Reuters posted this. So obviously they're being followed by the media, and she was called brave on CNN. Brave.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, wow, she's so brave. By the way, safest subway in the country right at that point. Yeah, safest place you could be.
They're making her the new Rosa Parks, basically.
Yeah, well, it turns out that moments before these people got on, she was busy. Before there was white people, she was doing something. Check this out. Just farting with her pants down. Someone said, all it really does take is a bunch of Chads to tame them. You know, that's crazy.
To me, this is indicative of the difference between white men abdicating their role in society versus taking control and leading by example. I think that, you know, people have disagreements with Patriot Front, whatever, but if you were to remove the masks and the hat and the fact that this is Patriot Front as a total organization, but it was just a bus or train full of white men, strong, athletic, young white men in general, you would see very similar behavior out of a woman like this, someone else, another unruly homeless person or an indolent person. That first video where she's going crazy is when white men have stepped back from our role in society as leaders and those who facilitate and create an environment that's conducive to modernity, conducive to a first world, truly amazing, excellent place to live where you can walk around and it's clean and it's safe and it's orderly. I can go from Washington, D.C. to another city in the Northeast on a train and not have to worry about who's in my immediate proximity. What's going to happen to me? Is someone going to attack me if I'm riding with my wife or my daughter or my children, my friends? Are they going to be okay? Are they going to be safe? Am I going to have to fight for my life? Or is there just trash everywhere? Is there degeneracy? Is it dyshygienic? Are people shitting on the subway as we're riding? You know, that's the society without white men leading as we should versus, oh shit, wow, look at Patriot Front. Or look at, you know, if it was
I thought you meant, oh shit, because she was shitting on the
all of the above, all of the above. Or if it's a train full of young Groyper men in suits or something. Oh shit, I better get my act together. I better behave myself. I don't know what might happen. If I start shaking my ass and shitting and screaming and doing drugs on this train or on this bus in front of everyone, maybe one of these strong, smart, intelligent young white men might set me straight. This is what happens when you have our people leading as we should, and I honestly love to see that.
Yeah, there is a little problem, like you mentioned earlier. Yeah. Their whole roster got leaked. We pulled up the story earlier live. We didn't know about it until we were live, but yeah, thanks Doomsday for that. So it turns out the story is true. Their whole roster was leaked, including the date when they joined, as well as their pseudonym in the group. So even their fake identities have been leaked. And Nick has warned us about Patriot Front since the beginning. All of his followers, he warned that this is going to happen at some point or another. As soon as Patriot Front gets any traction or anything, this is going to be what happens. So if one of you want to...
I have it up.
There you go.
Yeah, exclusive leaked documents expose growing white supremacist group. Let me see if I can zoom in there for the actual text. One of the nation's largest white supremacist groups from USA Today here is rapidly expanding, adding hundreds of members across 49 states in the past 2 years. Internal documents leaked by USA Today show a coordinated recruitment push fueled by step-by-step manuals and a network of fight clubs where members meet and sign up new recruits. Files provided by a source inside Patriot Front offer a rare look at the group's inner workings as it accelerates its growth. Hang him. I'm just joking. No violence here. Known for its highly choreographed rallies, rows of identically dressed men in blue shirts, who, by the way, I'm adding, seem to have better marching lines than the Canadian government and the U.S. government in our parades. Yeah. Chinos and white face coverings carrying American flags. The group has used disciplined optics to amplify its reach and visibility. USA Today analysis of the group's 72-page member roster and other obtained documents revealed. I don't want to look at any of it right now. I'm not even going to go over it on the show because, I mean, it's public, but I'm not going to promote it.
Right.
But it looks like, yeah, the majority, you're right, are in, what is that? Texas, Florida,
and Utah.
Arizona. Oh, it's Utah.
Yeah.
Utah, the Mormons.
And California, surprisingly, has a lot.
Well, it's probably just because there's so many people in California in general. Yeah. And then Tennessee, that's not surprising either. Texas is the headquarters. Like I said earlier, I already knew this because Thomas Rousseau is basically where I'm from. Grapevine's right next to where my hometown is. And this is where he started Patriot Front, where he's been operating.
Dallas
for a long
Airport as
time.
well.
Dallas Airport?
Dallas Fort Worth.
Yeah, it's
DFW.
right next to it. Right.
Yeah.
So it's not surprising that there's a lot of them in Texas. But one thing that's interesting to note is, right, it's a source inside of Patriot Front. They weren't hacked or something. Someone leaked. That's obviously one of the feds. That's obviously one of the informants that's leaking that, for sure.
Yeah, or one of the informants, like, blackmailed one of the guys because he has, like, an arms charge or he has some, like, violent threats or said some stuff. and got them to, become an informant, I should say, like recently. It could be a recent informant. And that'll always happen. Like, guys, we had an informant inside of Rift for 2025 and didn't even know.
Oh, I thought my cover was blown. Go
No,
ahead.
last year we had an informant.
No, you're still good, Jordan.
Okay, all right.
We had like weird people, like doing weird stuff. And there was a lot of like informant stuff. A lot of people are informants. I do think it's an overused phrase though. Like a lot of people are not informants, but guys, this is the problem of like, this is the problem that we all meet with like trying to promote you guys. People say, why do people on podcasts not promote like armed resistance, arms coup d'etat, at the very least, militias and whatever. Look, I think if you're a red-blooded American, if you're a European heritage American, if you're the only real American, which I'll look at this black girl saying something to let you know it's not all blacks or not everyone doesn't understand what's going on. And I don't want to make the credit like that. And a lot of whites don't understand what's going on. But the reality of the situation is these kind of groups, because of the security and surveillance apparatus, things are digital. They do get leaked. We're not just having men meeting in bars, close the doors, shut the windows, and lynch the man who betrays, the core of the group. It's going to be exceedingly challenging. And I remind you that it's probably any type of warfare in the future would be at least a few decades at least. And it would be primarily, guerrilla warfare, terrorism, as well as like drone warfare. So that's kind of what it would be. It'd be like attacks on power grids, attacks, like it would have to be like almost domestic terrorism of infrastructure and things like that. I'm not promoting that, by the way. That just seems like probably what would happen. A little bit kind of like what we're seeing tested out in Ukraine and Russia. Like the future Cold Wars are these proxy wars. Because look at what happened when two countries try to fight just now. Like when Iran and the United States went head to head, like we didn't win. So, we won 37 times, as I mentioned. It's like we basically got everything back to the way it was, minus we actually conceded some issues, lost a lot of equipment, a lot of people died on both sides, not necessarily Americans, but a lot of people died in our Arab Emirate allies.
I think we lost like 20 or 30 Americans.
But
total.
They say. Who knows about special ops teams?
That's a fuck ton. 30 Americans is still a lot.
One American is too much.
Way too much.
So, for a war that we're not going to win. And yes, comparing it to the Korean War or the Vietnam War, like, yes, this is, rather low, but we never put boots on the ground. So, we're losing those from just precision strikes. And the government held out. And Jackson Hinkle's there right now. So,
Patriot.
It held out. Millions.
Traitor.
I want to bring up this. I know it seems totally not, applicable because it starts about talking about the 19th Amendment. And it seems like, what does this have to do with whites? What does this have to do with issues? But it's like this woman is saying some really interesting things because she's talking about how she realized that the world really doesn't work the way that she thought it did as a woman and kind of woke up. And then it actually talks about, in terms of like, even as a black woman, as a woman, she's realizing that like we probably cannot fix our problems with the current system, right? So she's not joining a white supremacist group, a white nationalist group, a right-wing group. She's not even necessarily right-wing, who knows? But she did realize, oh shit, like maybe the issues we'd have to repeal these amendments, but you couldn't do that because no one's going to vote for it because women vote. And so we're never going to ratify the changes. Maybe that's why I'm saying she doesn't suggest, but maybe the problems will require extreme measures. Not saying that I'm happy about that.
They will,
but they
objectively.
will. They will.
Objectively.
Listen to what she said. And this is a very good take from a source you wouldn't expect.
Do you know what the saddest part is? As a girl, one of the things that kept me very left-leaning was the phrase repeal the 19th. I always heard this phrase from the right about them wanting to take away women's right to vote. And I always was so hurt by that. I was like, women have, the same mental capacity as males. We can, be functional. We can be very intelligent. And so I was very offended by that. And now that I'm, slightly right-leaning, I realize why they say that. Women are the migrant was gooning to children. The white woman comes, no, let me save you from getting beat up. We need to... Now listen, it's not women's fault. We're getting psyoped by the Democratic Party because they know that we're just a little more compassionate and a little bit more emotionally introspective. So they use that. They use that to, dangle this perfect, non-discriminatory, perfect for women and children utopia in front of our face that it could never happen. It could never be achieved. Rape will never disappear. Hate will never disappear. Racism, these things will never disappear. This is life. This is the society we are in. This is the duality of man. But, they really, really tell women, well, your vote will really help a lot of people. It's like those ads for those animal ads, those crying animal ads. You think men donate to those ads as much as women do? Really? If you go to a pride rally or you go to a BLM or a Palestine rally and you ask them to name one policy that they don't like about this government or one rights that a gay person lost, anything, if you ask them any question, the women will be like, yeah, and then you'll ask them, okay, so can you follow up? Like, what do you say? And they're like, well, I don't really know. These women's political education and political passion literally stem from headlines and texts with their friends and group chats. That's literally where their political passion comes from. It's because they want to appear as good. Women want to appear as morally superior, doing the safe thing, doing the right thing, and they'll destroy their nation for it. They'll destroy their nation for it. So obviously I don't want the 19th Amendment repealed, obviously, because I'm a woman, I like my vote. But
it needs to be repealed. There's
we have to do something, because I can't take these dumb women anymore acting like this. Like, really. If you don't, and men too, if you don't know about politics and you don't know about policies and you don't know about, just stop.
No,
why am I bricked up right now, Elijah?
Because that's Helen of Troy. That's the most beautiful woman in Europe. Those people fought wars for that. Of course you're bricked up.
Right.
No, but no, the butt wasn't bad.
I like how at the end she's like, I want to keep the 19th Amendment, but this is fucked up.
No,
we can't get out of this.
She's like, I would want to, as in theory, but something has to be done, as in, I don't know if just repealing that amendment, like as in, I don't know if that's what's going to have to happen. Because that might never happen. That's that idealistic 20-year-old, young guy.
Already out of the bottle.
Yeah, like, we're gonna have to repeal. No, it's like we'd have to remove women's rights.
Yeah,
but that's not gonna come through an amendment. Yeah, you have to form a new nation, a new government.
Yeah,
these amendments are not going to be ratified out of existence.
We need a new country with new amendments that specify women in this republic can never vote ever in history for the rest of time. Women and minorities can never vote, and that would honestly fix basically everything.
And then the bar for a constitutional amendment in this new republic would be so high that it's basically impossible to ever get it overturned.
Yeah, I think the idea that you add amendments was a mistake. The founding fathers should have been a little bit more decisive, I think, and they should have been a lot less hopeful for the future and future Americans. Like, we are retarded compared to them, and we're going to just keep doing retarded shit until the inevitable collapse. Eventually it will fall because we implement bad policies. Women specifically implement bad policies and then pressure the men to agree with them. Otherwise, they revoke their pussy access. And everyone knows that. And that's what ruined voting for men, actually, was females started voting. And each election cycle, they would come in larger numbers to the polls and things would start to change for them. And the men, they would have to capitulate a little bit. They would have to agree. They would have to liberalize their values a little. And now the end result of that is like two Democratic parties. We have two Democratic parties. There is no such thing as a conservative party. I don't remember any party in our country conserving anything. So the conservatives today are just Democrats from 20 years ago, and the Democrats today are socialists and communists.
Right. So let's talk about this, though. One of the issues that I'm saying about this law and order is this topic of female cops, which I want to end on today. I want to look at this situation that sparked this conversation over the weekend of these migrants, non-white migrants, attack this white guy, and the cops detain him. And I have a lot of examples of this stuff happening this weekend. Check this out. Of course, ganging up on him, a giant group of them. This reminds me. Take him down, instigate the violence, hit him on the side of the head. And look, and the cops detain him.
Yeah, that's crazy, dude. You gotta be joking.
Okay, so an investigation was done. There was outrage across the United Kingdom, and the Birmingham police released this statement. The incident has been reviewed, and we have no concern over the officer's actions, and we are satisfied that they were reasonable and proportionate in the circumstances. We would ask that the footage is not further shared to allow the legal process to take its course, of which the community note said, police arrested the victim of an assault and allowed the attackers to flee.
It's insane. It's absolutely insane.
You turned off his mic still.
No, his mic's on.
Popping back in here. There we go.
go.
It's absolutely insane because what happened right there? The guy's being attacked by multiple people. He's on the ground. He's getting up, and someone else is running right into him. He's going to assume it's another one of the attackers. He doesn't even actually punch her in the face. It's more of like his arm kind of comes up against the side of her head. And he is then immediately arrested because he has no idea what's going on, tries to put his arm out, ended up being the cop. And
his mic is.
You have an unplugged cord right there.
That's beautiful.
Yep.
There we go.
Nope.
Put it back in.
That's not a cord. Nope.
Sweet.
There we go.
Okay. We're still getting used to the swing of things here. But yeah, they arrest the guy when he had no idea who his attacker is and who it isn't. Over and over.
Yeah, and one of the things is you know, at least this guy on a random bike in Bangladesh is handling minorities better than the police are. This is what they should be doing.
Love this.
Hey.
That one needs it the most. That one. Send them away.
That's obviously all fake. I know that was like scripted stuff, but it's funny anyways.
Yeah.
It is hilarious.
I hope it was real, and I hope those children were hurt.
Well, they were not. It was clarified. No one was hurt in the process.
Okay.
Although it looks like they were, but
dang it.
No, it's like, dude, you know, at a certain point, society needs to behave like that. It's just like your kid's unruly. Like, you know, there's like some black kid harassing you at the mall. It's like just throw them off the balcony into a planter that's soft and they don't get hurt. No, I'm joking, but I'm
not. Do it.
But I'm joking. So my point is I'm saying like men, like women defend the gooner, like that girl was saying. They defend the attackers. It's like, whoa, let the little poor black boy go. It's like, yeet the jeet, you know?
Yeah, yeet
like,
the jeet.
Like, it's crazy. And you'd think it's like a normal thing that's just like happening on a regular basis or like not really that common. But, it, you know, this happens all the time in the UK. And we'll just discuss the UK a second further before we get to anything else. You know, the police in the UK, they cannot stop the migrants. This is why they're afraid to stop them. Like, look at this instance that just happened.
Ooh. With his own baton.
Yeah, so there's that
GTA.
one. Now, even further than that, there's even a weirder one here. I'll show you some real things. This is another example of that's absolutely crazy. Watch this. This is clear as day. This just happened as well. Watch.
Shithouse!
They let him get away. Please just let him go.
Dude, they don't even chase after
Yeah, they detained the guy. Everyone's really mad about it.
I get Jackson Hinkle now. I'm gonna hit him up and see what we can work out.
Yeah,
for as bad as things can be in America sometimes, I do think that the situation with law enforcement here is still better than in Europe. Like, because that's just insane. At least here, like, the cops are gonna arrest that guy if they're right there on the
might
spot.
shoot him in the back, actually.
Yeah, W.
Well, like, look, so we saw the video in the beginning. I might replay it for a second. If you're here from the beginning of the show, of a female police officer, they like blew up her car with a mortar, and she was like obviously concussed or something, and you know, having that brain fog. If you ever had, I've had that happen before. I've been in riots when they launch mortars in front of you. So fucking scary. It really is. It's like you just get this flash. You don't see the sparks. It just blinds you, and you can't hear for like 3 minutes, and you can't see. And you just have to crouch down, like cover your head in case anyone starts kicking you on the floor because you're around black and brown people and you assume that's what they're going to do to you. This is like a pretty startling video here of a female police officer, and check this out. Her baton again. Look, they got her baton.
The second cop.
Look at the guy
he's just trying to help her get her out of there.
You should be able to just start blasting, dude, in this situation. Yeah.
Well, all the cops are scared to fire their guns.
Yeah. Especially around this group.
The music.
I wouldn't even serve if you put a female officer with me.
No.
I wouldn't. I would just abdicate my.
That's what ruined the Navy for me. I got out literally because there were women in the military, and they ruined it.
Yeah, it's like I just wouldn't go. Dude, listen to me.
You'd enjoy the barrack bunnies?
Well, I liked the barrack bunnies, but I disagreed with them being there to begin with.
Yeah.
But
Did you like the barrack bussies?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
The best.
Yeah. Well, we know that's the only reason why he joined. Then we found there were women there. He was like, oh, man.
Yeah, exactly.
That was just the boys.
Exactly, actually.
You know, it's really interesting because some people were putting up some images here. And I believe it or not, apparently these are AI images. And it's hard for me to accept the truth of that because it just seems like, you know, it seems like what police officers do. Check out some of these. These apparently are AI, and I have to clarify now on YouTube when something's AI.
This is AI?
Well, it's hard to believe, but it is. Check this out. Here's a woman police officer, apparently. I don't know what part of it's AI, actually. That's why I'm like, where's the edit? Because this has to be real.
Leave her alone, mate.
Yeah, it's AI. Yeah. Very AI. Oh, yeah.
Wow. What part of that is unreal? You know what I mean?
Looked real to me.
Yeah, looked
very believable.
I got fooled for.
I got another one. I got another one too. I'm loving this. The UK government's trying to ban these right now, by the way. Not joke. It's not a joke. They're putting a warning about this. Watch. Here's another one on a.
Let me touch you. Leave her alone.
Classic.
You know,
is that how is that not even close to reality at this point? You know, how is that not close to reality? And I'm going to play a couple seconds of this, but here's the exact video too here from the beginning of a officer in Wisconsin. If you're new to the live stream, like literally KO'd on the floor. People are like, cover her like she's dead, and cover her. She's like needs help.
Blew up the car and the officer. Officer, you okay?
Get off.
It popped on the officer. Officer, you okay?
Like
we'll help you. Radio it in, officer. Officer down, you guys.
Taking a nap.
Radio you okay, officer? Should push button.
Hey. It just really hurts.
Sam Hyde once famously said, "There's nothing more dangerous." I believe. What's the quote? There's nothing more dangerous than being pulled over by a female police officer. It's like you have about like 3 seconds before you're probably dead. Yeah. Like, you know,
well, have you
like
seen that video of the dude getting pulled over for just like a normal traffic stop? He was speeding or something, and the female cop like immediately whips out a gun on him.
Oh,
He's
yeah,
like,
I did,
holy
yeah.
shit. He starts to drive away, and she just shoots at the car. She just shoots like in the middle of an intersection. There's a ton of people, ton of cars around, and she's just blasting at the side of his car, shooting into nothing. Yeah.
Well, and I want to end with this because, you know, let's see, we're doing on time here. Okay, yeah, we have a couple of minutes. I want to end on a video and a discussion on men and women and some ideas I came up with because we are pretty harsh on women, but I also have some criticisms for men here too in terms of how we're kind of enabling this bad behavior despite the systems being against us, how we're doing so, and it's maybe a little bit of a criticism to myself too. You know, I gotta look yourself in the mirror every once in a while and be like, I have no idea how women fuck me. You know, it's disgusting. You ever like, yeah. What I want you to do right now when you go home,
he spends a lot of time in front of the mirror.
Go to your bed.
A lot.
Go to your bed. Put your hands on the end of the bed. Put your phone on front-facing camera and put it facing under your face and rock your body back and forth and realize that's what women are looking at. It's scary. It's disgusting. It's like, wow, that is a frightening sight. You know, you see a woman, she's naked, she's beautiful, and you're like, what a beautiful creature. And that's their version. Like, you have like hair.
It's like an ape, yeah.
Yeah, it's like having sex with a monster. Okay. But so I mean this. Look, women are attracted to the force, the nature of men. They love who we are. We have different things that we're attracted to. They like to feel like, you know, the man's big and protective. We like small and fragile, and like that's kind of what, you know, there's sexual dynamics. But like, there is a reason women never had rights for all of history, period. This is what women's podcasts are like. And I'm going to play a little bit of this clip, and we're going to have a discussion on a tweet that I read that I thought was a fair, equal criticism of male-female dynamics in 2026. Kind of can spark off a good conversation to end the night. Listen to this.
I fucked my best friend's son.
Oh.
Yeah.
Bro.
Is this too much?
Intentionally?
Wonderful.
No, so it was kind of funny because
did she think it was funny?
Oh yeah, she was.
I like how
so
women
I'll
have
tell you the
zero
story.
virtue at
I'll
all.
tell you like the quick version of it. He's hot.
Virtuous
He's
ones usually
25.
aren't
He's in the
attractive. That's the problem.
Marines.
No such thing as
I mean,
a
just
virtuous
good
woman.
military guy. Well, he
Oh,
was
God
home
can make
on
her
leave,
nuns. God can make them
and
virtuous.
my best friend knew that I've always had a crush on him because
God.
he's hot.
Yeah.
Like I'll show you a picture. Like he's hot, just tall and muscles.
And she never said, "Stay away from my son."
Never.
Okay.
No. She's very like open. Like she was the porn star that was never a porn star.
She wanted her son to get some pussy.
For sure. Like, and she was a dancer. She was a feature entertainer. Yeah,
No,
Helen of Troy talks to Helen
for
of Troy.
sure. So she was just kind of, she was very open. But so anyhow, he was home on leave and she was like, "Oh, Josh is home." And I was like, "Oh." And she knew that I wanted to tap it like really bad. And I love military men. I have such an appreciation for our military men.
Georgie.
So anyhow, they were out drinking, and she brings him to my house afterwards, like a sacrificial lamb. And I was like,
she brought her son like a sacrificial lamb.
Yeah, I did. And I was like, oh, she has no idea that I am just going to destroy him and like ruin his life. And I remember the night she dropped him off. It was pouring rain. It was dark because they all were out drinking at the bar. And I was like, well, when you guys are done getting lit, bring them to my house. And you know, me being the cougar, I got a bottle.
This is in Vegas?
Yeah, I got a bottle of wine.
Cool.
Okay.
I don't see the problem here.
I was going to say this. I want to say something.
What exactly is the problem here? Dude. I don't understand. I actually don't get it. What's the problem? Fucking porn star mom hooks up her teenage Chad son with another porn star. Was it his birthday or like just random occasion, you know?
It was just an average Friday night.
How old is the son?
I think
any woman that's a woman.
He's 25. Who gives a fuck?
If it's a father or like if it was like, you know, like in the old days or something like that, trying to like, you know, get his son on a date, but like as a parent being like, I'm just trying to get my kid fucked by a porn star. It's setting your kids up for like dates or to find a wife is very noble, actually. It's like, oh, there's a beautiful girl. You might want to date her. You might want to see if she's interested. She's a quality woman. Part of your job as an adult is to introduce your children who may be having sex with porn stars to people who perhaps may be good suitors. Now, back in the day, of course, like if you might teach your kids about sex, you know, at a young age at a brothel or something, but that was because your kids need to go to war or something, and you want your kids to start like getting, you know, procreating, having a family, different way of life. I don't think right now is the time to be like, you want to tap my friend's pussy? You know, it's like, that's probably not the dynamic you want with your kids.
Well, but I disagree. I think, think about the incel problem, right? Like if
he's 25, he's not an incel, he's a fireman.
He's a fireman? Well, let's say you were 25. Let's say you're 25, you're living with mom or whatever, and she brings you home a porn star. Is that going to ruin your life in any way? Is that going to hurt you in any way? Exactly how does that hurt you?
It's destructive for your soul.
Like, what about that dynamic between your kid? Like dropping him off to get to pop pussy? Like, I don't think that's like a
sounds like a
good
cool ass mom to me. I'd be texting her all the time.
You grew up
calling
in a
her.
fucked up situation, dude. That's crazy.
Yeah, you wouldn't value.
It's crazy.
You wouldn't
Wait till
value
you have kids,
your mother.
dude. That's like, yeah, your mom. You don't. That's just sad if you have a mom who had sex with a woman and had kids with a woman who would do that.
She's an adult, and so is he.
Is there no morality outside of age?
Is there no
now?
dynamic?
The age of consent is the only thing that matters.
But why are parents and kids like,
is that
like
what we're
who wants a
saying?
dynamic with their mom that your mom's like, you want to dick down my friend's pussy? Like, I don't want my mom talking to me about that shit. That's ridiculous.
It's like, yeah, mom, thanks.
Bro.
The fuck?
Georgie's so thirsty right now, dude. He's just dying for something.
He wants to get adopted by a
I don't
mommy.
see it. I don't see
No,
it.
we need sons who revere and look up at their mother as emblematic of what they want in their future wife, of what they want their children's mother to
means he doesn't
be
respect
like
his
and
mom.
look like.
Well, virtuous women don't exist, so that's a fruitless pursuit either way.
I don't know. My mom was virtuous. My mom was virtuous. She maybe doesn't always, but she did commit her life to Christ, and like I saw her personality change over the years, and she became a very virtuous woman over time. She was like for like since before I was born, but like I saw, for instance, like which is crazy, I saw my mom being raised by an alcoholic and choosing not to drink, first of all, because she found Christ at a young age. So she chose not to talk to, from like, you know, I'm not going to talk about my mom's past, but, you know, it's like, you know, she wasn't always a Christian and then she became a Christian. And I watched her forsake the family lineage of like not wanting to perpetuate the family curse. Then I remember like a lot of moms, you know, and my dad, love him. I'm not going to speak poorly of my parents, but, you know, homeschooling, you know, 5 kids or whatever, and you know, it was an interesting life. I just had an interesting life growing up. She had a very bad anger problem. Like I wouldn't call it anything different than women. Like it wasn't abusive. It's just like she just like, you know, like I mentioned, like I once didn't change her blankets over from the washer to the dryer, and I left them wet because I just forgot. And she proceeded to come in the door weeping and wailing and like left the cold blankets on the floor and was like crying, telling me I didn't love her.
Yeah.
And this is like very normal for any girlfriend, anything like this. And, you know, like those videos where it's like, son, I'm going to tell you one day, you might not understand why mom does things like this, but you're going to meet a woman and they're going to just get angry and mad and have emotions and you don't know why. Just stay calm and just ride it out. You know, that's why dads always say, I'll take care of this. You know what I mean? Because it's just like, here she goes again. But and I mean this out of respect. I saw my mom go from that to hardly ever getting in the flesh with me, even as an adult. And when she did, coming to me the next morning and taking me to breakfast or something and apologizing and saying things like, look, what you did is wrong. And as your mother, I'm going to stand against that. And I'm going to, even as an adult, she would tell me this, as an adult, I'm going to correct you knowing that, you know, I'm still here to guide you, but the way that I spoke to you or the way I handled that or the way I did this or that is not right to respond to sin. It says, be angry and do not sin. Should always use that verse. Be angry and do not sin. And I would say that's virtue, saying, I'm going to submit myself to God and say, look, in my nature, my female nature, I do want to just snap and get angry, but God said it was wrong. And so she rarely did it as I grew up. But then she would catch herself.
That's a 1 in a million.
Correct.
Situation.
I've never met many women like her.
Yeah.
So I'm saying she was virtuous.
I know one.
But
like that.
but I also, if you're not freaked out by your mom and your friends' moms growing up, like are they moms?
I don't know.
They were freaky.
You know, in many regards, my mother's very similar to what you just described as well. She truly is a pious woman, and I believe that through the power of Christ, absolutely, women can be pious. It's just that it's very few and far between in the 21st century. And honestly, that's true of men and women today, but specifically with women. And what has happened is just like with that conversation earlier about white men abdicating their role in society. And that's why you see so much degeneracy and everything falling apart, our infrastructure, everything's dangerous. It's the same thing with gender dynamics and women like this, men abdicating the role and allowing feminism and hypergamy to take over. When men ruled society and we structured society based upon what is conducive to a good home environment, a good family environment, and then from their nation in general, that's when you wouldn't have a porn star mother taking her son to go hook up with her best porn star friend. Like that's just a perfect description, a perfect sentence of when men abdicate their role in society, this is where you end up. This is exactly the scenario that you're going to get happening across the country. That's a scary thing to see, honestly.
You need a good husband because, like, oh my gosh, here, I'll end on this point. Like, okay, I don't know why I don't ever look up divorce content or custody content, but your phones listen to you. So I'm on TikTok and Instagram, and I get these. It's really actually fun, by the way. If you're divorced or you're thinking about it or you're going through custody or you did. Just like watch both sides of like the content people make from the male and female perspective on the case, like on this stuff. And I'll tell you this, the only time I agree with the women's take, and I think it's reasonable, is when they're talking about like, you know, men who are just like extremely physically abusive, you know, extremely addicted to substances and like can't like manage life and putting the family in danger. Like those situations, not girls who lie about that, but like genuinely, like guys who have to like breathe into that thing 5 times a day and are failing. Like, yeah, you know, protect your kids, you know, don't give in to his antics. Like until he's ready to become a father, don't be in his life. Like make sure that they're protected. But I see some of the stupidest shit that's viral, like hundreds of thousands of likes. And like I saw one this woman said, like, unbeknownst to men, the kids actually don't need their dad in their life. They don't even need to know their dad. They actually just need a man who cares about them in the way that you know they need to be cared about. And I just see like, this woman like Queen pop off. And I see like this one guy's comment who's like, what in the fuck is this diabolical satanic woman shit? Kids don't need a dad in their lives. They don't need their dad in their lives. Like maybe temporarily, kids might not need to be around their father if there's actually whatever, but we know most things are false accusations in divorce. It's almost always false accusations. And what I noticed, listen to this, what I noticed is men, so this is what I was gonna say, when I agree with the man and the woman, like when a man's saying the woman can't be in the life because they like legitimately do drugs, not like in my situation where they lie and then you take negative drug tests, show you never took drugs, and they just lie and lie and lie. Or even in the guys, sometimes guys lie and say that, the woman, hits the kids and whatever, and it's a lie. They both do lie. Lower instances of lying from the men, but it does happen. What I noticed in the arguments about like women and like not needing a man or a woman, I've never seen a post from a man, even when a woman is like genuinely evil and she's addicted to meth, and like they're always mourning posts. Like every day I wake up and I just wish that my ex would like get off meth so my kids could just have their mother in their life. And I wish she would just take being a mother. Like they're always that, like, what do you do? It's videos. What do you do when a woman just like doesn't take mothering responsibly and you just want her to come give her son a hug? You never see the like, you don't need a mother. Here's how the hot bitch I'm dating can replace her. You don't see any of that from men. Men don't even want child support. They have a lower instance. They just want time with their kids. Women want revenge. They want to destroy the man. And famous quote from I'll end here, my last quote. Famous quote from William's dad, one of the best divorce lawyers. He was talking about the problem with taking on female clients versus male clients. I've seen this from several lawyers, but he goes, when men want to divorce a woman, they just like, let me just make sure that I, see my kids. I'll pay whatever I need to. We can handle alimony and whatever, and child support if we need to. Here's the money. Let's end this. Women come in, and it could be a great guy and be like, I want his skin. I want to wear his skin. I don't want him. I never want him to see his kids. And I know so much so that women's behavior is so toxic and vindictive, as Georgie said it, that divorce court today, family court, is about women's revenge on men for not having rights for all of history.
Is them voting.
Yeah, but them voting, everything they do is that
to get back at men.
It's so much so that when I decided to file for divorce, my lawyers told me a play-by-play. Here's what she's gonna do to you. I go, but that doesn't make any sense. I go, here's everything she's gonna do to you, and weaponize and do this stuff. I'm not gonna go into details. And I didn't believe them. I just go, well, she would never do anything like that to me. I'm like, that's crazy. Everything and more. That the fact is, the spirit of a woman and the way that she is left uncontrolled is what is destroying America. The question is to the men, so I bring this up, what are we going to do about it? Are we going to sit here and wait for another 20 years of men to be victims of divorce court, family court voting? Are we going to wait for just our children to suffer from lies and destruction and chaos? How much more do you think? It's like even women go to court. You're the ones that want to go to court. Women are the ones that want to get the government involved in their children's lives and in their divorces. And then they want the government to decide things for their kids. And men are like, fuck that. I don't want that. So the question is, as men, I leave you here in the comments, what are we going to do about it? We've all been a victim of this, whether you've had an ex-girlfriend and experienced your car getting slashed and her not going to jail for it, whether you've been hit by a girl and, nothing happens to her for domestic violence, whether you see girls defending gooners or voting our way into the most horrific things in the world. It's true, that's happening. But are we going to sit around and just be like, well, this fucking sucks? How long are we going to concede this bullshit before we realize that our children, my children specifically, but your children that you haven't even had yet or may never have because of this system, are being cheated because women live off of emotions, not logic. And when they're not submitted to God and to a man, left unchecked to their own devices, they destroy themselves, and not just their social circles, that too, but the whole entire society. Nikki?
Absolutely. Well, I'll leave you with this. It's just like what the Bible says after the fall in the Garden of Eden. What happened? God said, you are to the woman, you are going to want to struggle against your husband, and you are going to be biting at his heels, right? And so that's what we see today. When men abdicate their role, this is the society you get. It's time to stand up and fight back. As he said, my name is Nicky Rudd. I am going to be here Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 6 p.m. Central Time, Rift TV. The Rudd Report is coming soon. Stay tuned for that. You can find me on X at Nicky Rudd X, Instagram, TikTok. Just look up the name Nicky Rudd and you can find me there.
Yeah, and since we have so many X viewers, real quick, we have 2 clippers for you guys to go and follow if you're interested in our clips. It's US_Monarch and Groyper Firestick. You spell that Grypr Fire STIK. So go follow them if you want to see our clips. And also Nicholas Redman. I think if you look him up, you'll probably find him. Nicholas Redman. He is our writer, our main writer on our website. If you're interested in articles, go follow him.
Yeah, to the rest of you guys watching, I've pretty much had the same views on race and women my entire decade doing this. Kind of why I got into this. It's just the sad part is every time people told me I was extreme, my life experience has only shown me that it's a confirmation bias. It appears like I was already right. But in my own personal life, I always like to believe that black person wouldn't do that, would they? That girl would never do that to me, would she? That would never happen from my government, would they? And I've been wrong every damn time. So let's learn from our ignorance, and let's be honest, and let's fight the good fight of faith, admit our wrongs, repent to God. And to my ortho bros who I control and have ultimate authority and dominion over as the lead worship social media pastor, campus pastor of the Ortho Bros and Catechumen community online on all social media.
Get back
for all
to
of
church.
history. Go to Divine Liturgy and stop virtue signaling online. We know what you're looking at porn. Stop it. Have a good night. May God bless the United States of America. I'm signing out.